What is your like ideal like series size? Like, what do you?
Size.
Yeah,
Oh.
because I think this is a hot take for some people.
Yeah, I would say, 3, 4 books because I feel like more than that is going to be quite the commitment. But
Mhm.
I've read lots that were more. I get intimidated by, I don't know, these 12 plus books
Yeah.
series. Like right now, everybody's raving about Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I
Yeah.
love fantasy. So, like, I will probably give it a chance at
Right.
some point. But it's like 10 books right now that are out and with like 3 more scheduled. And,
Oh my
as
gosh.
much as I love being in these worlds and sometimes never want it to end, it's just like a TV series. Sometimes it has
Yeah.
to, or it
At
gets
some
bad.
point. Yeah. It's like Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
I
So, what
love
is
Grey's
yours?
Anatomy.
What's your threshold?
I don't listen, I don't have a threshold because one of my favorite series of all time is Throne of Glass, and that's
Mhm.
a big series to
8
pick up
giant
casually.
books. Yeah.
Yeah, and also giant, yeah, huge books.
Mhm.
But I think an ideal size for me is, yeah, like a trilogy or 4, like 3 to 4. A really well done duology, I will say, is like Chef's Kiss, like One Dark
Mhm.
Window, Two Twisted Crowns.
So good.
Boom,
Mhm.
bang, you get in, you're in it, it's amazing, and then it's done. And you
Mhm.
have an end, and you're like, great. And I still think
Mhm.
about that little duology. It was
Yeah.
really well done. I think a duology done well is difficult, though. The same
Mhm.
reason, like a standalone, I think sometimes is really hard in romantasy in particular, where there's these really fantastical and amazingly large
Yeah.
worlds that we're thrust into. So I'm always open for more, but I think like a well done trilogy hits really nicely. I like a
Yeah,
trilogy.
I think that that's good enough. I feel like that's
Yeah.
also enough time for the author to do
Yeah.
all the world
You don't have to
building,
rush
the
it.
foreshadowing,
Mm.
depending on how complicated the story. If you look at something like Game of Thrones, where there's like
Yeah.
500 million storylines, then that one makes
Yeah.
sense for why it needs to be. And
Mhm.
even Throne of Glass kind of got that way towards
Yeah.
like halfway through or whatever. The amount of characters that it was
Yes.
following was a lot. So,
Oh, yeah.
uh, to
And
be
you're
able
getting
to
new ones midway through.
yeah. So to be able to like give closure on all of those and do it
Mhm.
well, then you
Mhm.
need more books for that. But I don't know. It's their commitments, man.
For sure. And again, a like testament to the authors that can create these amazing worlds and write a story about these unique characters and weave them together and make sure they like are closing it out. I think that's just an art. It truly is an art form that not
Yeah.
many are able to do, and certainly not everyone is able to do effectively.
Yeah. I was just telling my husband the other day, like, I wonder, there's all these people on the internet that put out theories and they guess
Yeah.
at this and they guess at that. And like, that's super popular right now. And I understand like why that's fun.
Mhm.
But I honestly wonder how much thought the authors have actually put into some of it. Like, how much of these are just like, oh my gosh? My example was, the whole theory on Dumbledore being gay.
Yeah.
That was a theory that had come out
Mhm.
during Harry Potter. And
Mhm.
then in Fantastic Beasts, which
Yeah.
were movies, not books, we got that kind of version of Dumbledore.
Mhm.
But do I really think that when she sat down to write Harry Potter, she
Did
thought,
she say
what?
Dumbledore is a gay man?
Yeah. He
Probably
never had
not.
any romantic relationships. These were kids' books. They were
Right.
like originally, like, I don't think that's a trope she ever explored
Probably
until
not.
somebody put it on the internet. And then we were like, okay, sure,
Probably.
him and Grindelwald.
I think
Like,
it's yes, I agree. I think some of it is that I think some people will take it down a path of theorizing, and I tend to have, like, theories or things like that, not to the extent that some. But again, I also and I believe you are as well, a Swiftie and the culture around, like,
I'm,
Eas
well, I'm
Easter
a
eggs.
mild Swifty. I
My
don't
same.
follow all the little
No.
teeny tiny things, but I
I'm,
do
like,
love her.
surface level. I don't do any of the theorizing or the
Yeah.
counting or whatever. I
Yeah.
think it's like, I'll listen to it, mostly because I'm just very open-minded, so anytime someone's like, "I wanna present a theory to you," I'm like, "Let's hear it."
Yeah,
And then I
sure.
may internally be like, "That's fucking stupid." But I'm like, "I still wanna hear what you have to say." Like, I'm fascinated. Especially to your point, I think so many people put so much thought into this, but the example I was thinking of was Sarah J. Maas with the ACOTAR and, like, how many theories with this ACOTAR, or is it 6 or 7, depending on, I think, who you ask, depending on if you count a
I think
novella or
it's
not.
labeled
Is it
online as 6
labeled
and 7,
6
but
and 7? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we even get them. But I think some of the theories, like, have you seen the theory that surrounding Bryaxis? And
yes. Mhm.
yes, and that's Kaltain's soul from
Mhm.
Throne of Glass, which is, like, a beautiful tie-in, but to your
Mhm.
point, I'm like, I think it was just, like, a big scary monster. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think it's that serious. It
She
could
didn't
be.
put that much thought
Yeah.
into that.
And
Mhm.
I think the interview that she did on Call Her Daddy too, she's like, "You
Mhm.
guys are really, really going deep on this, and it maybe isn't." And there is just some things in life where it's like, it's just not that serious, guys. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, my theory about Broken Dove,
Yeah.
I can't
Let's
remember if
hear
I
it.
messaged you about this or not because I was talking to my other friend at the same time, but
Mhm.
the whole telepathic, her, like, seeing things from Cross's
Oh,
perspective,
yeah. What do you think that is?
I think it's him. I think that's his
Whoa.
power that he doesn't even know that he has, and he was maybe sort of projecting to her or something like that. I think it's him.
Theory, because I will say that was one of my gripes, was like all of a sudden we have all these brand new super niche unique, like it's kind of one of
Yeah.
those things where I'm like, if everybody has super special magic powers, then nobody has super special magic powers. Like either it's really unique or it's not, and then we
Yeah.
got a bunch of characters that have like really random unique powers that don't even have a name. But I like that for Cross, because we're led to assume that he can only do telepathy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe only with her?
Maybe. Yeah,
I
I
don't
guess we
think there
don't
was
know
ever
that
an
he
instance that he did it with anyone else.
See, and then my mind's like, "Okay, well, then what if he's not, like, a full
Oh
mod and it's
god.
all just, like, her? Maybe she can, like, transfer, like,
Mm.
powers? 'Cause has she tried to? I don't know. Who know
And
again, we're
again, if it's mostly her and they had some connection as kids
right. To
have
be
that connection start
yeah.
off, yeah.
Why? Yeah.
I think I really want him to be a mod.
I do too. I think he kind of has to be because of just this relationship clearly is not gonna work, if
But
they're
also it's gonna give him the purpose to fight his family.
yes. 'Cause
Because
he needs
otherwise, he's already kind of sided with them at the beginning of Broken Dove or at the end of Silver
mhm.
Elite when he sends her away with
Yeah,
Xavier and then stays. There
right.
was that loyalty to his family that he couldn't quite let go of. But if he is more of a mod, that will give him more of a
Mhm.
reason to fight his family. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see where the next book goes. Again, like, I had a good time. I
Yeah.
wasn't mad about Broken Dove, but I felt like it could have been better.
Yeah. I loved it.
I'm glad. I
I
love that you
couldn't
loved it.
stop, but
I love that you loved it. There have been
yeah.
a number of books that people have loved that I was like, "I fucking hated that book. I would
Yeah.
never recommend that book to anybody that I cared about."
Yeah.
And
Well,
there are
same with
people
When
who love
the
it.
Moon Hatched. Like, you
Yeah,
loved that one so much. I feel like I need to give it another chance. So, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna read book 2
yeah.
for sure.
There
So,
and there are certainly series that I'm like, "Did I love it? No. Am I still gonna read it? Yeah." Because at some point, like, I'm committed to like, I wanna know how things end. That's my thing. I'm a sucker for I don't think I have ever well, maybe I could count on less than on one hand how many times I've DNF'd a book. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm like, "Well, I hate this, but I need to know how it ends." Like, I'm not having a good time, but I need closure in some way. And
I
then
think
it's
it's
like
an
hate
OC
reading.
I think it's an OCD thing for me. Like
Probably.
I'm the same way with TV series. I'm like, it has to be really bad for me to walk away from it.
There have been a
Right.
few TV series that I've dropped like a bad habit, but it's hard. It's
But
rare
I'll
for me
still
for
finish the season. So I
yeah.
may drop
Um,
it before the next season, but I don't
you're
usually
not
drop
gonna
it mid-season. That's usually weird for me, but
It's fair. I'll usually finish it out. There've been, again, like, a couple that I've ever not
yeah.
finished.
One book series for me was Outlander. I
never read the books.
I read like 6 or 7 of those books, maybe even 8, because they're massive. My biggest complaint, I enjoyed the story.
Yeah.
I really did. The author is so wordy. You wanna talk about a good series to listen to because you
Mm.
can kind of tune out when we're spending 20 pages on farming.
Mhm.
Like,
You're like, "We get it."
yeah, bring me back to the love story.
Yeah.
So
I need to know what's happening with my characters.
I mean, I really did enjoy that storyline. I
Mhm.
enjoyed this TV series, but I had to drop it at one point because I just was like, I can't. It's not interesting me anymore.
Yeah.
So it was
I'll find
hard to get
myself
through.
skimming, and once I'm
Mhm.
especially for books that are wordy or I feel like we're
Mhm.
being like the plot is dragging, like, I'll
Mhm.
skim real
Yeah.
fast and just be like, "Get me to dialogue." Like,
Yeah.
where can I find people talking again?
Yeah.
Which is not a great thing to admit when you, again, have all these authors spending a ton of time, but there's just some
I know.
styles that I've discovered that I like more than others and things that I appreciate more, and then just some storylines that I was like, "Nope, hate this. I don't
I
like
mean,
it."
and that's all art, right?
Yeah,
Like it's
it's
all
all up for interpretation.
subjective and like, you can't please everyone with it.
No.
And
If you were gonna please everyone, then the story wouldn't make any sense at all, and then what would you be writing it for?
and everyone thinks they're a critic in this world. So,
We all have thoughts and opinions, good,
yeah.
bad, or otherwise.
Yes, and I'm not trying to, like, have these conversations to, like, tear these books down by
No. Oh
any
my
means.
gosh, no.
I just, like I mean, I all these books we've talked about, I really enjoyed reading,
Mhm.
just some more than others, right?
Yeah. I think that's again, like, that's the beauty of it and the beauty of having so much even within, like, I will say one of my things that I when I'm talking to people who don't read romantasy is there's so much diversity even within that
Yeah.
genre. Like, you can
Mhm.
find very niche things that you enjoy, and you can find different authors and writing styles and plot points and things that you enjoy that maybe others don't. Like, there's a whole side of romantasy that I don't touch with a 10-foot pole. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not for me. And I love that for you, but it's not for me. And vice versa. Like there've been plenty of books that I've like been like, oh, I love this. And someone's like, yeah, don't like dragons, right? Which again, don't understand.
Yes! My
Love me
friend,
dragon.
I adore her, but
Yeah.
she hated Fourth Wing, and I was like, "We might not be able to be friends anymore."
How can you hate Fourth Wing? It's got something for everybody. But
But,
again, yeah, like, and that's what makes it fun
yeah,
is you can find what you like and there may be some crossover, there may not be. But
yeah,
even within one single genre, there's so much that you can explore. And I think that's what makes it so fun.
for sure. Alright, let's talk about our last series before
Yes.
we get too sidetracked again.
Best for last.
Shield of Sparrows and Rights. Well, I listened to this. It was Rightus of the Starling, but I
Oh,
cannot get used to saying it that way. So
no,
Rights of the
it's right.
Starling. Yeah, the audiobook the whole time I was like, Rightus, the Rightus. What's the Rightus?
What is this? Don't put your weird English words on me. How dare you?
Yeah. So by
You
Dabney
start. What did
Perry.
you think?
I liked it. I think I enjoyed it while I was reading it. Again, I did not put together that those were two separate storylines happening
On different
at different
timelines even.
timelines. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on it until we talked about what was her name? The other girl.
Caspia?
Caspia. Until they said she was pregnant. And then I was like, wait, what? So I think that because that was shocking for me and
Mm,
I didn't pick up on it early on, I might have enjoyed it a little bit more than other people did.
mm.
I loved Shield of Sparrows. I
Oh,
thought it
so
was so good. I love the creatures in it,
yes.
the monsters and all the things. I was disappointed at the end of Shield of Sparrows that we didn't get more on her power, like
Mm,
her being like buzzed when she's
yeah.
around the what are they called? I almost called them whatever the
Oh, the Boster.
Bosser.
Yes.
Isn't the Volturi from Twilight? Here I go
Yes.
back to
Yeah,
that.
they're the
Anyways.
bad vampires.
Yeah, those ones. I was disappointed we didn't get a little bit more explanation on that.
Mm, mhm.
I still think even in book 2, there wasn't much of an explanation there.
No, not really. And there's even more depth to it now because, right, like, there's good and bad Boster. Well, depending on whose side you're
Right,
on, good and
right.
bad.
Yeah, so I enjoyed both. quite a bit. I think that reflecting on book 2, I feel like it was very much just a mild bridge to the whatever's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Because we had so much backstory with Caspia, that probably could have been like a prequel.
Really interesting.
I don't know, in my opinion, I guess.
All opinions are valid, right?
Yeah. So, but I did I kept wanting the two of them to meet up the whole time. I'm like, okay, now they're both in
I know.
wherever she came from. I can't remember the name of the town she came from.
I don't remember. Oh,
Yeah.
from Caspia and her
No, the
Calandra.
other. Yes.
No, that's the continent. She's from, I don't
What's the
know.
town
It's
called?
like the backward C shape and she's at the bottom.
Yeah.
Reference your
Yeah.
map.
When you
Reference
look
your
at the
map,
map.
friends.
Yeah. So I really, when they were like getting closer to the end and they're in the same place together, and I'm like, hurry up, together. And then they're like, oh, she's pregnant. And I'm like,
Wait a minute.
what did I miss here? So yeah, it took
Yeah,
me a while to figure that out.
you read it after I did, and I remember you texting me and being like, I think they're gonna find each other. They're in the same place. And I
You're
was
like,
like, girl, ain't nobody finding anybody. This was very much love both of these books. This is one of the few second books that I am not a hater on. That being said, I saw the two timelines and Caspia being her mom again from a country mile away. Like, I think I was maybe, and this was one I did a buddy read via Fable. I don't know if you have that app. Quick plug.
you've told me about it, but I haven't gotten it yet.
Love it. Listen, and I use it still in conjunction with Goodreads because Goodreads ties to my Kindle and it's just like it kind of does half the work for me, which I love. Fable takes a little more intentionality, but I got into that app because I was trying to find forums for basically like a virtual book club. But what I like about it is it's like a discussion board. So you pick a book and it will format a discussion by chapter. So each chapter is like a little mini chat room. And anyone who's in the book club can read at whatever pace. So it's all behind like a blocked, like a paywall, if you will, for lack of a better term. You only will see the other commentary on that chapter when you get to it. So everyone can read at their own pace. You can leave comments. You can join other random book clubs if you want. You can create your own. So I've created a couple I have some former coworkers that are dispersed now around the United States, and we all have very different like reading paces. So it's been a great platform for that. But what I loved, I think I was like 15% in, and I had put in one of the chats, I was like, I feel like we're in like a 2 different timeline thing happening, and I feel like Caspia is gonna be Odessa's mom. Like I just I can see this being a backstory plot. So it's interesting that you said a prequel because I loved, not for nothing, like this style of writing of telling us this story and doing 2 different POVs seemingly out of nowhere and giving us all the historical context that we needed in a unique way while also still moving the plot forward with the current characters. I masterclass for me. Like I just thought that was so incredibly well done, but for the author to do it that way, at least from a formatting storytelling perspective. But the actual plot or the content happening within it aside, like just the thought to do it that way and keep us moving while also giving all of the things that we needed historically, I just thought was well done. And now we've got this whole other continent, this whole other world. And yes, to your point, like we still pretty much know nothing, but we're up to speed at least on like the mystery of who Odessa's mother is and who what her father's fucking deal is. Cause man, that guy's an asshole.
Was it a little weird though that the turnaround happened relatively quick? Like all of a sudden he cared.
All of a sudden he cared, which sucks. Yeah, I agree. I didn't love that. But what I did like, and I think I put this in the discussion post of this buddy read that I did. But I love that Odessa changed her tune a little bit of realizing like she didn't forgive him right away, or she didn't trust him right away. She forgave him, but she was like, I still think you've been an asshole to me my whole life. And I was like, good. Yeah, he was. But there was some commentary or writing within that chapter where she's reflecting on like all I wanted this whole time, and if you think back to Shield of Sparrows, like, this is very much a primary plot point of, like, wanting her father's approval, wanting him to trust her, wanting him to share things with her, and she has sort of this realization of, like, "I don't need his validation."
Mm,
And I think that was really important for character development, but also for, like, how she's gonna be able to move forward
mhm.
from this and from everything that she's learned. But man, her dad made it real fucking hard. He was such an asshole. It's like,
Yeah, for
I still
sure.
and Margot too. Like,
Yeah.
she kind of has a really wild character arc evolution that I was like, "I'm
Well,
glad."
and we did have that merger with the
Yeah, that
Caspian
was our
version.
crossover.
Yeah, so that was kinda cool to see
Mhm.
that and, her trusting Margot to be like, "Take care of my daughter," but then it ended up being like an evil stepmother situation. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of. I agree. I think some of the, like, distancing that was happening between these parental figures and again, like, a child this entire time was really weird, like, a really
Yeah,
weird dynamic, but I was glad there was some redemption to be had in the end.
yeah.
Because I hated Margot. I was like, "She's just
Yeah,
a frigid bitch." Like, I
and the
did not like
sister
her.
too, she was
The sister,
awful.
I think she's going to be a problem just in different ways. Like, I'm not quite
Mm,
sure where we're gonna go with
yeah,
her next, but I still
yeah,
don't know that I trust May.
yeah, yeah.
But man, I loved this series. This is one that I think we were like a little where I was like, "Oh my god, I loved it." Like, I loved it so much.
I
And
loved Shield of Sparrows, I
yeah.
really did. I enjoyed that one a lot, and then yeah, I just feel like Rights of the Starling was very much still part of the world building. And I am not somebody who likes the slow burn world building. I kind of
Mm.
like I
You kinda
loved
just
in
wanna be, like,
Fourth
dropped in
Wing.
it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
loved
I
in
like that
Fourth
too.
Wing how she like built it while shit's
Mhm.
happening. I feel like Hunger Games was kind of similar. Throne of Glass is very slow burn,
Yeah.
things like that. So, I don't know, I tend to do better, my brain. Just dump me in and let's just go.
Yeah. I agree. I tend to lean that way too. I think because it was in the second book, it didn't feel so much of a, like,
True.
world building, but it
Yeah,
was I will agree with you, and I hadn't considered it, but, like, we were building, like, the historical world,
yeah,
but I do think we needed all of that for the redemption and character arc for her father and to understand like the reasoning and the impetus for Lysa and all of this is still so unknown
yeah,
even with all of these years that have passed. And this
yeah,
is also why like her dad hasn't been able to do anything about it, but why he's still trying to find things out. And then yeah, I don't know. I agree.
yeah.
I tend to like a more fast paced, but I just felt like there was so much happening with the present day with Odessa. The thing that I was grateful for, because I thought we were starting out, at the beginning this way and I hate nothing more than a miscommunication trope. These are, like, my top 3. Hate a miscommunication trope. Pregnancy trope, I just think is never well done
Mhm,
ever. It can be really just challenging on all ends of the spectrum. And then, like, separating the main characters. And when
mm.
we only had one POV chapter with, oh my gosh, what his name's escaping me.
Oh, The Guardian is what I'm thinking
Yes, the
of, but
Guardian, but what
the
is his we get his actual name.
Ransom. I hated that
Ransom.
name, but
Yeah, I didn't like it either. It did grow on me eventually,
mhm.
but because I was like, "I can't call him Xavier now," like,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah, because
Ransom.
that's the other guy.
That's the other guy. Everybody's got a fake name, and a different identity. But I thought when we only had 1 chapter, POV of Ransom, I was like, "If they are separated this whole book, I'm going to
Mhm.
riot." And I was very glad that that was not the case because
Yeah.
I hate when we just separate characters because 'cause we're like, "No, I don't really know how to continue the, like, dynamic of this relationship."
Also, then we don't get as much spice.
Also, yeah, Broken Dove. What the hell?
Well, then she found spice with the gray, but it wasn't as
It
spicy.
was the slowest of slow. I was like, "Now you're gonna be celibate? This is so boring."
We must take it slow. That is not
Yes.
really a romantasy trope.
No. I mean, I think people try to make it a trope. It's not one that I subscribe to. I'm like, no. I need, like, not insta love, but not a slow burn. Like,
Yes.
there is a point where I'm like, there was this, I think it was the burn of the Everflame series again, or the Kindred. I don't know what the actual name of the series is
Yeah.
called, but you get like a little bit at the beginning, and then there's this whole relationship dynamic with the main female and male characters. And I remember when I read it, gosh, this was probably like 2 or 3 years ago. It was another one that I buddy read with a friend, and I was like, if somebody doesn't get fucked soon, I'm gonna throw this book across the room. Like, this is so boring at this point because you're getting all the like touches and the like ooh and like a kiss, and I'm like, you guys love each other, just do it. Like, we know
I'm
you
trying
both
to remember because now they're all like running together
yeah,
for me. But there were a few that I was like, oh my God, could
that
we
was
do
fun.
this already?
And that I think part of it too was like the last book is so big in that series, and then we're still waiting for another giant book that is supposedly the actual final book, but I think it's the third or fourth book. I don't remember. It's huge, and I knew it was big, and I was like, if I have to read 800 pages of kissing,
Oh my gosh.
I
Yeah.
will riot. I will
Yep.
riot.
Yep.
And thankfully, somebody has a good time in there finally. But man,
Finally.
I was like halfway through, and I was like, what are we doing?
Oh, man, I know. I'm trying to look back at my books because there were a few that were, and there's nothing popping like into my immediate brain, but I just remember being like, it was like the entire first book of like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
You know, you're
And
going to
again,
do it eventually. Just do it already.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and there's a well done, like, slow burn. Like, I think Night and the Moth, and again, I just really love Rachel Gillig's writing style, so when you get into it, but I think this is a very well done version of, like, I wouldn't even call it a slow burn, but, like, yearning. Like, the yearning that
Mm,
she writes and the intimacy and the way she writes it in that book is just so well done, and
mhm.
I think there's a big difference between, like, yearning and slow burn, or, like,
Yeah.
getting close and then just, like, cutting it off or being interrupted.
Mm,
And I think this is part of we're kind of perpetuating some of the stigma around romantasy, right? Of, like, you're reading it for the sex, and it's like, I mean, sure, at some point, like, we're here for a reason, right?
yeah.
But it's maybe a couple of chapters. And some of the books where it's just spice, like, spice first and then plot, I don't
Yeah.
love. Like, I still need a plot. And I've read a couple of those books too, where it's like the extreme end of the spectrum of it's just every other chapter is spice, and you're like, we get it. Like, you guys really like each other, or like everybody really likes each other. Like, I
Yeah.
understand. And there is a point where that's no longer interesting. So it's a very fine, like, thread or needle to thread. And again, I could never, I'm not an author, but there's a balance between a slow burn and just spice forward. And I'm firmly in the middle. I need
Yeah.
both.
Yeah. For sure. There are so many releases coming out this year.
So many. 2026 is the year for romantasy.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I was kind of, as disappointed as I was that we weren't going to get book 3 of Quicksilver. It also is one less book for me to read this
Yeah.
year.
It's like a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to the most?
Great question. I have been, as I mentioned, and have already started dying for Ballad of the Fallen, or Falling, whatever, Ballad of Dragons. So I'm really excited that I'm reading that right now. And I am also, and this is sort of recency bias because it's coming out, I think, next week or early next week. Lightwielder, the second one for Metal Slinger.
And that's the last one. I think
Is it? Is it just a duology?
I saw a post that I sent my friend about a bunch of duologies that
Yeah.
were finished, and that was one that was on there,
Wow.
I think.
Even better. That'll
Yeah.
be great. And I could see them wrapping this up into and doing it well. But I think I told you this when I recommended it. Metal Slinger is just everything. And again, we're deep in our journey, right? This has been over the course of years. So this is not, a take for someone new into this space or anything, but as someone who's been reading these books and almost exclusively in this romantasy genre for the most part, you get to a point where you're like, I've read this book before, or yeah, I know how this is going to end, or kind of see what this is, or like there's also this sort of understanding of like, what a fae is, and they all kind of have the same traits across across books and whatever. And so you start seeking out things that are different and unique. And sometimes they hit and sometimes they don't. And I have definitely been on a journey of like, I need something different. I want something fun. I want something different, which has been really great. Metal Slinger is everything that I loved and like sucked me into this genre again. It was just like the reminder. It felt like a warm hug of like, these are all the things that I loved about this genre and why I enjoy reading it. So and it ends with a just crazy twist at the end of it that I did not see coming. So I think you're really going to enjoy it. I cannot wait for the text message that I'm going to get from you when you finish it. But I'm really, really excited for the next book because I'm very curious to see where that one goes. And then I loved Night and the Moth. So was the next one Knave and the Moon or something?
See, that's where I combined the two names.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yeah. Knave and the Moon. I mean, they are very easy to mix in. I just love, again, I've said it probably a million times on this podcast. I love Rachel Gillig's writing. So I'm really excited for that one. And then there's a few more, obviously, like the Sarah J. Maas, the next ACOTAR book. I am wildly curious where we're going next with that and whose POV we may or may not be in for that one. So those are probably my top 3, like most anticipated. Maybe that was 4. Whatever. My top ones. What about you?
Let's see. I've got all of those pre-ordered.
You were ahead of the game.
Yeah, I don't know. Since I have my beautiful new bookshelves, I just
You gotta
like,
fill.
and they're so pretty when they
I
first
know.
come
They're
out.
so pretty.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to look at the ones that I've definitely ACOTAR, that's at the top. I have mixed feelings about the Fourth Wing novella or whatever it is that we're getting that nobody knows about. That feels weird, but I guess some of those I haven't even fully read the first book, so it's hard for me to say.
That's fair.
But yeah, but I am, because I'll finish Metal Slinger, and then I do have the Night and the Moth. Right?
Yeah.
I keep mixing that.
And the Moth is the first one. Yep.
I'm gonna read the Ballad of Falling Dragons. So yeah, I don't know. The list just never ends.
It never ends. Every time I think I'm like, oh, I read almost 50 books this year. I should be making a dent. And then there's just so much.
Yeah, I just finished my first Brandon Sanderson book. So
Oh, how'd that go?
I read Mistborn, so now I have to read, that's a trilogy, so now I have to read the other 2 of those. Plus I have to somehow sprinkle in an ACOTAR reread, which I have been like re-listening to the first book.
Yeah. That's a good one for an audiobook.
Off and on. Yeah, so when I'm in between or if I run out of Spotify listening hours or whatever.
Yeah. Fill her in.
Yeah, so that's been pretty good for the most part, but I don't know, it's just never ending, all the books. And then there's so many more coming out. Like like that I'm learning about, not coming out. Like I've got, let's see, I'll open my want to read. Like I really want to read that. Is it Anathema?
Oh, I remember you mentioning this one. I feel like I've seen that on my radar as like someone said it was like criminally underrated, but I don't know much about it.
I don't know much about it, but I saw like a clip on Instagram that was real spicy. And I was like, oh, what book is that?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I need to read that.
Oh, nice. Okay. I might have to.
Let's see. What else do I have queued up on my Kindle? So that one's one that I want to read. And that actually, book 3 comes out this year.
Okay.
The Anathema one. Crown Me Dead. Everyone's talking about that one.
Yes. I just added that one on my list. And again, I'm like, I have that internal battle of like, do I want to start something that's brand new or I have to wait forever? Speaking of things that everybody's talking about, and it may just be like the couple of people of like book talk influencers that I follow. Have you heard of Because I Killed Him? Okay, so this is one that one of the book influencers that I follow that I really align a lot with, like her recommendations and her perspectives. So pretty much if she says it's a 6-star read, I'm reading it.
Yeah.
She was talking about this book, and I think this is the one where she said it's like Great Gatsby, but in like a romantic. No, I was like, tell me more. And there's like a political component to it, but I also think might be a standalone, which is what intrigued me because I was like, I love a good standalone in between. So that is one that I think whenever I get to the point with all the releases this year of needing like a filler, I think I'm going to do that one. It's Because I Killed Him by Edith. I don't know if it's Bird or Birdie.
Mm.
Um, but it's a 4.5 on Goodreads,
Oh, wow.
which I feel like Goodreads has all the critics.
Yeah. The Poison Daughter is supposed to be a really great standalone. I
Have
haven't
you
read that
you
one
haven't read
yet.
that one?
No.
That is a spicy
Well,
standalone.
that one's on my list. I also have A Fate in Flames.
I don't know that I've heard of that one.
And then Feathers So Vicious.
Oh,
That's
yes. I've
also
had that.
supposed to
I've had
be.
that on my list for a while. I
Oh.
actually Speaking of, we were talking about Kindle Unlimited and trying to, like, support our bank accounts with some options that are in there, and I believe this is a Kindle Unlimited series, and I
Yes, I
think
have it
it's
on there, yeah.
almost complete. The first book, and I just finished it not that long ago, The Road of Bones.
There.
Yeah, The Road of Bones, and the series is called The Ashen, and
Okay.
it's a novella, so it's 3 books plus a novella. I think the third one was just recently released, or that or the fourth one's coming soon. Anyway, I think it's all on Kindle Unlimited, but I started it. I had a friend who, again, we're very much aligned in our tastes in books, who finished it as she was waiting for some of the releases that were coming out in between like the beginning of the year and the spring and summer. And she really liked it. It's Vikings. So I started the first book. So it's like a
Oh.
Vikings, but there's magic. There was some twists in the first book already. It was a little slow. It was a little bit of world building in the first book.
Mhm.
My friend did warn me. She's like, the first book is your price of admission. Just like the first book of ACOTAR. Like
Yeah.
you gotta pay the entrance fee.
Yeah.
But then she said it gets really good. So that's one I'm like kind of filling in because it's Kindle Unlimited, and I think it'll be so different from most of what I'm reading that it'll be an easy filler. But that was one. I had The Road of Bones on my TBR, I think, for probably over a year at this point,
Mm.
and I see something new and shiny and everybody's talking about it. I'm like, well, I gotta read it so it doesn't
Yep.
get spoiled. So I've been
Yeah.
trying with more intentionality when I have gaps in between things that I am really excited to read to go like dig deeper into my TBR list and pull some of those
Yeah.
things out.
Yeah, I have so many on my Kindle that I had gotten on, like, super
Yeah.
sale, or I was like, "Oh, yeah, I wanna read." Like, I do have Spark of the Everflame on my Kindle that I bought a long time ago.
Yeah, I think the next one is coming out in the fall, so that'd be a good one to start like end
The
of
big
summer.
one. But, yeah, so I feel like my TBR list has now been dictated by releases because of how much all of these books
Because
are
I don't
coming
want we have
out.
FOMO.
So,
We have book FOMO.
yeah.
I don't wanna
Yeah.
miss out.
And I want all the pretty books, I'm not gonna lie.
I know, you love a pretty book. I
I'm a
don't do the physical.
sucker for a pretty book.
I am
True.
too. I fell victim in early days of my reading journey of, like, an incomplete series, and then they change the style of them
Mm.
midway, and I hate that. I need them to look pretty
Mm.
on my shelf. So I made a decision as I got adult money and was like, "I'm gonna wait for the complete series and get the ones that I want the most in, like, a box set." So that's what I did with Throne of Glass, is I
Mhm.
waited until it was all out, and then I got the box set that I liked because there's a few different styles, I think, of it
Yeah.
at this point. And so that's been my, like, girl math version of, like, I'm gonna save money by not buying them as they come out. But man,
Yeah.
those spray edges, limited
They're so pretty.
edition, they're so pretty. They're so pretty.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for them for sure. I love them. But,
Love them.
I mean, now everybody's concerned about that with ACOTAR
I
because,
know.
like, here's my books. Book 1 is inside my house because 'cause I've been slowly working my way
Okay,
through
I
it.
was gonna say, I don't see red.
No, it's inside my house. But yeah, I mean, like, those are soft covers. Like,
Yeah,
I'm screwed, but whatever. I'm
YOLO.
trying not to care about it as much because I think that's my When the Moon Hatched is the short one.
Ugh,
And
yes.
then The Ballad of Falling Dragons is the
Again,
one next to it.
like,
But,
publishers,
well,
don't
sorry, Molly.
fucking do this to us. Again
Yeah.
and again, going back to, like, our very early conversation, your demographic, for the most part, is women. We
Mhm.
want it to be cohesive, we want it to be pretty. Don't
Mhm.
do that shit where it's, like, short and fat and squatty and then make a tall, skinny one. How dare
Yep.
you?
Yep. Yeah. So, all right,
Uh,
friend. We
yeah.
have talked for almost 2 hours. I might break this up into 2.
As you should and as your listeners would probably appreciate. But this is
But
this is what it's like to have also, like, a hair appointment with you. This is
yes.
a couple hours of uninterrupted yapping about books, which is truly one of the best parts of my day. So I thank you
Yeah.
for inviting me. As I told you when you asked me, I was like, "I can yap about books for 8 hours if you let
Yeah.
me."
Yeah.
So 2
Well,
hours feels
let's
like
do
light
it
work.
again as we keep reading. Maybe we'll have to do a full episode on the Ballad of Falling Dragons once I get through it.
I think we might have to. I have a feeling it's gonna be a really good one.
But yeah, so I'm sure we'll have more talks on here. So thank you so much for coming on and being my first test subject
Of course.
of
Happy to be.
doing these episodes. But it's just so fun. Books have become just such a huge part of my everyday life and my passion
Mhm.
of like you said, now I'm like I get new clients in my share. I'm like, "Oh, what are you reading right now?" And
Tell
if they're
me.
like, "I don't read," I'm like, "Oh."
I'm judging, but I'm not judging.
I'm just
Yeah.
like, "Uh-oh, I gotta find something else to talk about."
Yeah. You're like, "Well, what else do I have in my
Yeah.
arsenal? Not
Yeah.
much." That is
'Cause I'm
mostly what I
watching
do.
so much less TV now
Yes.
because I'm reading
That
so much,
is
which is good.
that is the thing that I always say. I'm like, I don't fall into the doom scroll trap, especially at night. Like, my ritual is I go to bed and I pull out my Kindle and I don't scroll on my phone and I don't watch TV. I just read. And it is
Mhm,
so much more enjoyable, so much more calming, so much
mhm,
better for, like, your brain in general
mhm.
to not be doing that in the evenings. But also, I have made so many great friends in
Yes.
talking about books. There's something about it, and again, I think it's just having this moment and this shift, this societal, cultural moment of there's so many great book clubs locally that I've discovered, and people that you had the depth of your conversations and the relationships that you have, like, our relationship could have ended
Mhm.
at the moment
Yeah.
when you were no longer doing my hair, and that was the
Yeah.
end of it, but we've stayed in contact, 1, because I love you, but 2, because we
Right.
have this common language, right? And
Yeah.
this thing that we both enjoy doing. And I'm also just a big proponent again for women, especially to have hobbies. There's so few
Mhm.
opportunities or things that we get to invest in ourselves outside of the home or outside of, a purpose driven thing. And if reading is your thing, like, go after it. Read what you enjoy unapologetically, talk to people about it, and who knows, maybe you might make a new friend.
Yeah, for sure. I'm amazed at how many of my friends I never have talked about books more with my friends in my life.
Yeah.
Like I've always had a book that I was working my way
Really?
through and some people we would be reading the same things,
Right.
but it would still be very surface level. And I think it's also nice because when there is a lot of drama in the world and stuff, like it gives you something
Yes.
else to talk about besides just life stuff, and that
Yeah,
stuff's good too, but like it's an escape in many ways.
it
So
is.
my friend. Well, thank you so much. This was
Thank
so
you.
fun. And thank you everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode and I hope there's more talks about books. I keep not wanting to use the term book talk, but because I mean like talks, not talk,
Not
TikTok.
TOK, not the
Yeah.
claw.
I'm like, oh, I hope there's more book talk in the future. And I'm like, no, not book talk, like book. Anyways.
Not that kind of book talk.
No, no, like talks about books more in the future. So, and
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll do this again for
I'm
sure
sure
on
we
some
will.
other books. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.